Three sisters with stories to tell. Books in our hands, we know them well. Flipping pages where dreams dwell. Chapter one, here you go. Turn the light, let the words flow. Laughs and love in every show. Books, sweethearts, we grow.
Welcome back to part 3, Throne of the Fallen. Still haven't memorized the title. So, I think we'll jump right in. This was a good section.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, excuse all of our sniffles and coughs because it's officially mid-fall in Texas.
Actual winter, but the cedar's a blooming.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay, jump into the rapid recap. Okay, I'm going to try to shorten it as best as I can. We left Camilla in the previous section looking for the forgery at Vexley's house, and she finds it hanging above his bed. She's interrupted by Envy sneaking in there when she's trying to steal it, and they make a quick escape, which she has a really weird reaction, afraid reaction to. So when they get down, Kitty tries to kill Envy with her heel because she's like he's accosted her friend. But they get out of there and avoid columnists. And Camilla had to show Envy a secret house her father made because there's a tunnel between that house and hers, like a back entrance. But he notices this like magical charge to the air, which relates to the realm lines, which we'll find a little bit more about. It seemed like things might get a little spicy there for a minute in this tunnel, but he ruined it with his like tit for tat, quick pro quo kind of.
No one's surprised.
I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know the words.
You help me, I'll help you.
Yeah, he ruined it. Basically, and she's like, "F you, get out of here." But then she's like in her studio daydreaming about it when a very angry Vex storms into her studio, screaming at her like, "Did you give it to him? You took it. I know you did." And puts hands on her. He like puts his hand on her neck, and she did not expect that from him. So she is pissed, first of all, that this even happened to her because she didn't take it. She couldn't get it off the wall. So, of course, Sassy Pants storms into Envy's home because she knows it was him. And it is noticed that she seems unfazed by their sin. Like his brother Lust is there. She doesn't seem to be reacting at all. So we thought that might be something like a clue to do with what she is. And we find out that Vex also has something important of her father's hidden. And if he dies, because obviously Envy wants to kill him for putting hands on her, if he dies, then it's gone forever. It comes to fruition that it's likely a portal key. And this is where we get the next proposition for the Hex Stone painting. And he wants to discuss that with her at his ball. Something I might have missed. I don't know. Yes, they make an agreement. Like I'll have a decision for you by your ball. We learn about the Dark Fae and the Light Fae. That Fae time moves differently. And Camilla hints that she has a rare talent. And we close out her at his ball in a dress that he gave her. That she looks like the Princess of Starlight in this dress. She's dazzling, and that's where we close off. That was a little rough.
Perfect. Let's jump into Sister Takes with chapter 18.
Is it Ashley?
We ended the last section where Camilla and Envy were dancing and the song was changing, and this brunette kind of like popped in as like, "Oh, this is my dance," and like waves her ticket around. Lust meets Camilla over at like the drink area, and he's kind of talking her up.
Was it Janelle or was it just a random girl?
I think it was Joanne, but
they keep referring to her
Janelle,
even in
not
this.
Joanne.
Sorry, it's a J name, whatever her name was. I had a hard time with her name the whole section.
I mean, to be fair, they do call her a widow, even though she's a young widow. So Joanne feels more appropriate.
Anyways.
But yeah, they only refer to her technically as the brunette, which comes into play in a minute. But So we jump into this chapter, and Lust and Camilla are still chatting, and he's kind of needling her, and he's like, "Yeah, you can have another dance with my brother if you want." And of course, she is scandalized, and she's like, you can't dance with somebody twice at one of these things." Like, oh my gosh. And he's still kind of just they're bantering back and forth, and he says, "You should call me Sin. I'm sure my brother has already tried to claim it, but I am the premier prince of sin." And she's eh, like you can tell something's kind of going on in her head. She's trying to like fill in blanks here. And then he makes a comment about he has 7 brothers, and they are referred to as the princes of sin.
How's she not picking up on this at this
Well,
point? I'm like,
she
he
did.
said it.
Yeah. So when he said that, it immediately she's like, "Well, I remember my mom telling me that there used to be 8 princes of sin ruling over the realm of 7 circles," which that is the only time the whole 8 princes of sin comes up so far, and I'm really curious about that. Like they kind of left us hanging with that.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a story.
Yeah. So she's trying to kind of like probe Lust and kind of dig around a little bit, but he just kind of shuts it down, um and he almost like the way he's answering, I don't know if he's gaslighting her on purpose or she gaslights herself. And she's like, "No, it must just all be, wishful thinking that, I'm intrigued by this guy because he's like a demon or a prince of sin." And while they're talking, she just starts kind of looking around and realizing, like, this party went from I just walked in, because remember, she just got there and they had one dance, and this dance still hasn't finished that he's with the brunette. And all of a sudden, everything is just salacious. There are people, their hands are starting to wander. And in dark corners, she's seeing that people are openly kissing, which we know is a no no. Um, and then she kind of turns, and not too far from her, there's a couple just going at it, full on having sex right there. And Les tries to like swing around and like block the view. And all of a sudden she whips around, and of course her eyes go to the dance floor, and she notices that everybody is watching Envy and the brunette. And she sees the brunette grab him by the what do you call those?
Lapels.
Lapels, thank you. and and to like she sees her pull him forward like she's gonna kiss him, and she just whips around real quick, and she tries to coolly walk out and toward the maze area so that nobody can pick up on her jealousy specifically. um and for the record, like, good luck, although everybody seemed to be kind of caught up in their own
Debauchery.
yeah, took the words right out of my mouth. So she gets into the maze, and she's kind of like, talking shit to herself basically for, ever allowing her mind to even contemplate the maybe tiny chance that Envy really was kind of into her. But, he just wanted something from her. He didn't want her, is kind of her mindset. And all of a sudden, she basically just runs right into someone. And when she looks up, of course, it's Envy. And he like catches her by the shoulders. And when she looks at him, she realizes like his eyes are all dark and very inhuman looking, is how she describes it. And he tells her, "Do not show me your envy again." Which interesting turn of phrase for him to use in that moment, but let
She
that
got him
go.
riled up, is what happened.
Yeah. Well, he's the one that's being a creeper and like eavesdropping on her emotions, like rude.
Mhm.
Like, she can't even have that to herself? Like, dang. And of course, when he says that, she's not having it, and she's just like, basically like, and what if I do? Like, she doesn't deny that she was jealous, but she's like, no, like, you're not going to tell me what to do. And that leads to him getting even more just like in a frenzy. He pushes her up against the hedges, pulls her mask off, and just starts kissing her. And she's like, holy shit, like, what just happened? Um, and he pulls away and he tells her, stroke my sin again, and I will show you what it means to lose, Miss Antonius. And then turns around and just walks off.
It, if you could pause for a moment, like I was so
Mhm.
confused here. Like, did he actually kiss this brunette? I don't understand. And then he
Yeah.
comes out there and then he's gone. Like, what happened?
Well, and it's like someone calls after her, but we don't know specifically who it is. Like, is
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
him or is it his brother?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it never clarifies. The way I saw it in my mind is she's pulling him in and he's probably looking for Camilla. And I mean, that's the only reason he
He
would
probably stopped
willingly.
it. They probably like
Yeah.
didn't kiss. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, it
I
is
have a
not going to work
feeling
in his favor
Yeah.
to be making out
he
with
will.
randos.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to come up and he will have to explain this whole scene from his side. Because
Fingers
she'll
crossed.
say something like about
Yeah.
Jamel.
And she called him
Uh,
a damn insufferable ass, which I'm pretty sure I've
yes.
had FMC's call an MMC before in a book. Like very to exact damn insufferable ass.
I mean,
Thank
it's
you.
pretty fitting for a lot of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
So as she is cursing him, all of a sudden she hears somebody behind her. Like, she hears a twig snap. And of course, now she might be the only character we've come across in a little bit across a couple of books that has some sense of self preservation, because she's like, oh, I don't know what the hell, but this is not feeling good. So she turns around and it is Lord Gary. And he's the one that, Envy was kind of most watching to be a possible player in the game.
He was interested in all the like unseelie art that he has hanging
Yeah.
around.
And he starts off with straight up creepo vibes and starts bringing up like how different she is. And before Camilla can even basically defend herself and say, it's not my fault that society is the one that decided I was different because of my circumstances, he straight up just attacks her, bum rushes her, throws a cloth over her mouth. She's screaming, or she's trying to scream, and she's scratching him, drawing blood, and he's not releasing her. He's not like letting up at all. And she realizes that he's trying to grab for her necklace, but he's not pulling it off. Like, he's kind of cradling it almost, is how I pictured it. Um, and she even has the thought, like, why doesn't he just rip it off? And he's telling her to give him the locket. And she's like, absolutely not. And he says, don't make me get rough. And then all of a sudden, like, brings her to the ground, and she realizes and like freezes because he has a dagger like pressed up against her heart. Like, it's already gone through her dress, and she's like, and he makes the comment, give it to me with your own hand. It's like creepy, but clearly he's definitely a player in the game. She may not know what the stakes are, but there's no reason to say it that way unless that was part of your clue or whatever. And as soon as he says that, she realizes that he knows it's more than just a locket. But for the record, she does not clarify what this more than just a locket is.
We still have no idea.
Doesn't even elaborate on the thought. I mean, to be fair, she's, fighting for her life and whatnot.
Right.
But we have no idea. And she decides to, she already knows she's not giving him the locket, like, no matter what. But she comes up with this plan really quickly to get on her feet. And so she's like, okay, I'll give it to you, but I need to stand up to be able to unclasp it. And she can tell he doesn't really believe her, but he's going with it. And she basically tricks him, acting like she's going to fall. And his inbred, quote unquote, manners get the better of him. So he drops the dagger to grab her hand, and she takes the opportunity and knees him right in the jewels. To which he is exceptionally unhappy and tackles her back to the ground and starts choking the absolute life out of her. And he's like, when you die, I guess that means you're willingly giving it to me from your dead body. And she's like, oh my God, like he's definitely going to kill me. And she's starting to black out almost. And she's trying to feel around for this dagger. She finally gets it. And right before she passes out, she stabs him right in the neck and then twists it. I love that they put that in there because, like, that is absolutely savage. Not just to stab him in the neck, but to have the presence of mind to twist it. Like, you're not coming back
You
from
are
this, dude.
ending it.
Yeah.
Something is severed.
Yeah. And all I'm thinking is, like, now she must have, like, cut his jugular. There's blood just pouring all over her. And she sits up and, like, kind of pushes him off of her. And she's like, oh my God, like, this guy is legit dead or very near being dead. And she is absolutely freaking out. She's like pulling her hair and she's like, I'm never going to be able to like live through this. Like, I'm going to be absolutely ruined. No one's ever going to believe anything. And of course, Envy now appears behind her again. Like, I don't know what the
Nice
hell.
time to show up, Envy.
Yeah. And he's trying to comfort her and is like, look, I'm going to fix this, but you have to tell me exactly what happened. And she's basically like catatonic in that moment. There's no processing it for her. So he's like cradling her up against his chest, and she sees Alexei come by and take the almost dead body of Gary, away. And so the chapter ends on she's still freaking out, but he's trying to soothe her. And all of a sudden she puts it to, him holding her. She feels like a calm and a warmth go through her from head to toe. And she is starting to calm down. And then that's the end of 18.
Yep. There's like no sign that anything happened anymore. Like
Yeah.
that there was a skirmish, and she still does not pick up that this man has some kind of like tricky magic. Come on,
Yeah.
girl. I think maybe she's just in denial about it. I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, and I think she says that in one of these chapters, essentially. Like, she doesn't want to believe or something. Or she's trying, I don't know. I don't remember exactly what she said.
I mean, I'll give her credit for that though, because I mean, realistically, if this happened to one of us, like, I still would not be like, yeah, he must be some
but
magical
she-
fey demon or something.
It's not one of us. Like, she has powers. So, like,
I mean, yes.
she knows. And, like, her parents were both, like, pretty involved in it. So it is kind of like, girl.
I mean, they
wake
did
up.
always they did still tell the stories as like fables to some extent.
Well, yeah,
And
but like she
but
magically
yes.
creates paintings, so like you can't anything is possible. And if
It
there's
should
a
be
story
easier,
about
yes.
all of these things, and it's like, huh, all of these things are exactly what I've heard.
That should just be the going quote for the entire book. Like, huh, didn't see that one coming. Okay.
It is interesting because she's not like a typical like warrior. Like,
Yeah.
Right. She's like a debutante.
FMC. Yeah, she's very, so I'm interested to see.
It's interesting that she had any kind of like scrappy, stabby skills.
Yeah.
I know.
Like you wouldn't expect that. You would expect she'd be like, oh, a knife.
Yeah.
Oh, blood. So something's with her history and her talent.
Yes.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay. Chapter 19.
We good? Yep.
Hmm?
This one is actually really short. So we're still in the maze. They're still kind of like he's holding her and she's trying to calm down. And all of a sudden, Envy hears two more lame lords kind of calling over the hedges and whatnot. And He's not really paying them too much mind, but then all of a sudden they're like, bam, right there behind Envy. And he even has the thought like, they shouldn't have been able to just pop up on me like that without me noticing. I'm clearly, too focused on this moment and not really paying attention to my surroundings. But as these two lords come around, they're being really crass and essentially like joking, but seriously, like asking him if he's screwing her out in the open in the maze. And Harrington is the main one kind of quipping, for lack of a better term. And he's like, oh, the satire sheets are going to love this. And Envy's just kind of like, he's kind of contemplating like what's his next move because this is about to get ugly really quick. And we learned that he had used magic to clean up her dress. There's no blood. It's not torn or anything, and all of her wounds are now gone. So it's like nothing ever happened to her. Envy decides kind of in a split second that he's going to make his third and final attempt to get her to agree to make this painting, which I find ironic now after you did the rapid recap because she was supposed to give him an answer originally anyways.
Hmm.
I totally forgot about that until you said that.
Yep, it's just sweeten the deal.
Yeah. And so he leans down and is whispering in her ear so no one else can hear. And he's like, okay, do you want to pretend that we're betrothed until this is all over? And, then your reputation is fine. And I get what I want. You get what you want. Everybody leaves happy. And she doesn't really say anything. And he's like, so you have to choose salvation or ruination, which I'm adding ruination to my vocabulary.
It's a good word.
Yeah. And then that's kind of where it ends.
So he said that he thought Gary was still in the ballroom dancing with Widow Janelle. So was Envy never dancing with her, or they switched partners and Camilla didn't notice?
I don't think
And
that's who he was
she went to
dancing with.
kiss?
I don't think it
Well-
was Janelle because they only ever referred to her as a brunette, and
But they
it would have been
suspected
easy.
it was her. It did say they suspected it was her. It was like
Mhm.
white feathers.
Or maybe Gary was dancing with Janelle when Envy walked off.
I know,
Like
it
maybe
says
Gary
when
swooped
it says
in.
when Gary must have left shortly after Camilla did, following her into the maze. So I don't know if somehow Envy got himself out of it and was watching. That's what I forgot about this part, so I was just curious.
The only reason I didn't get confused on that is because I never saw her as Janelle.
Gotcha.
I just took her as some rando lady. Maybe they'll clarify that one day.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Any other points?
I don't think so. He mentions that she has his cold black heart, the waiting has his cold black heart pumping fast, and he's like, please don't damn my court.
Yeah.
He has, and he hasn't even shared that with her. Maybe if he had just been honest from the get-go, hey, my court's damned, I have to be in this game, will you help me? She's a nice gal, maybe she would have gotten involved. I don't know. Secrets. It is called, well, the other one's called Throne of Secrets, but secrets. That's all I got.
Okay. So, chapter 20, we switch to Camilla's point of view in this moment, and, basically she's going to agree because he did protect her even after what she sees as what she did is wrong and awful and terrible. And she's like, even after what I had just done, he still is protecting me. So I'm going to agree. And he pulls out this massive pear-shaped emerald and diamond engagement ring. And she even has the thought where did this come from?
Yeah.
He's just been carrying this thing around with him?
Such a good question.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Um, and of course, Harrington chooses the perfect time to just kind of get up in their space. And before anybody really exchanges any bit of conversation, he just whips around and cold cocks Harrington right in the mouth. And Harrington is pissed because it chipped his tooth. The other lord has scampered away just immediately. What a lame friend. And then all of a sudden, Catherine appears.
Her knight in shining armor.
Yeah. Like, what is going on here? And NB tries to explain that Harrington interrupted the proposal and started bad mouthing his fiance, and before they could even defend why they were doing whatever it was that he thought they were doing. And of course, Harrington jumps in and makes some rather crass comments about, no, I found you and your face was like in her breasts or something to that extent, which wasn't even true. But NB just absolutely loses his shit and just goes to town and beats his face in, essentially. And Camilla's just kind of watching it and she's looking around like half the party is now in the maze watching this happen. And she's like, I should really be, appalled or upset by this. But I really just want to punch him too. Like, and as soon as that thought leaves her mind, Envy stops punching this guy, looks over his shoulder and kind of smirks at her and gets up. And he's like, he addresses the crowd and he's like, anyone else want to talk shit about my fiance? And it's dead silent, just crickets. And he's like, good. And FYI, if I find out anyone is starting rumors, leaving town immediately will only delay the inevitable. Dun, dun, dun. And then he just kind of looks back at Camilla and is like, let's go find something to toast with. And then the chapter ends.
I like how she filled in, like, he didn't say, I'll hunt you down and tear you limb from limb, but the message was unmistakable.
Yeah.
Like, that was definitely like fair,
Yeah.
read between the lines. And
I
also,
definitely got that too.
she's showing her, like, draw to darkness and a little bit of the violence, like the excitement it gives her. It starts showing a lot more now.
Yeah.
Like, she's
Yeah.
getting over the fear of it rather, and is like finding, oh, it's a little risky. I like it.
Ain't nothing
Yeah.
wrong with a little bit of violence sometimes.
She did akin him to like Vexley, but then made the differentiator that he's not holding something over her. He's not trying to blackmail her or force her hand. And that's, I think, what pushed her to say, okay, I'll do it. Like, you are trying to help me out here. I can help you out. Because you didn't put strings on it.
Yeah.
Good move. Good move. And
I mean, he kind of did, but like he didn't say it again.
Yeah.
Essentially. Like she
was
knew what the score
understood.
was.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
For
No?
me?
All right.
No, and it's weird when you say anyone else.
Well, I don't know.
Anyone?
Maybe anything
Anyone?
or something, but there's only two
Anyone?
of us here.
Christy could have had another point.
I'm good. Yeah, awesome.
Let me be. Okay. So chapter 1.
21.
That's what I meant. Chapter 21. So Envy has kicked everybody out. Party's over. Like, he's kind of over it. And he has agreed to ride with Catherine and her husband as they take Camilla home in the carriage. And of course, because we know Catherine is like the bestie of all besties, she is absolutely grilling Envy the entire carriage ride. And really, like, she knows like something is up. Like, she knows somebody is lying about something somehow, somewhere. She just hasn't caught them in it yet. And she's asking, like, okay, but how long has this been going on? Like, how did you guys even really meet? And so he's trying to spin this tale that he had written her a letter weeks before coming to town about commissioning a painting, and then they just started like conversing through snail mail. And he asked Camilla to kind of keep it quiet for a little bit, and the party was always going to be when he officially like proposed to her and whatnot. And Camilla kind of, she doesn't lie technically, but she gives credence to what he's saying by saying, like, look, can we be done with this? Yes. We started communicating a few weeks back, and now I finally agreed to his proposal, which it has been a couple of weeks since they started communicating, and she
And
didn't
she did agree
clarify.
to a proposal.
She did. So she's not technically lying, which NB makes a point to like recognize. Like he approves of her way around a lie, which in my mind kind of makes me think that there's like, if he's thinking maybe she has some kind of demon blood in her or whatever, because demons technically can't lie, they can only get around it. He's the only one, which we find out more on later, but I don't know. There's just something about the way he keeps bringing up, like, technically she didn't lie, because he brought it up like once or twice previously. Um, so once Catherine agrees to like stop grilling them, why you make that face?
This next part is like weird.
It is
That's all.
weird. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely weird. So she stops grilling him, and he kind of looks out the window and realizes like, uh, this isn't the way that Camilla's. Like, I thought they were going to drop her off and then I was just going to circle back, basically, and we could get started on this painting tonight. Well, Catherine is insisting that they go to their place and have a proper celebration for the proposal that they didn't get to have at the party. And then she's like, oh, you know what? You guys should totally just stay the night and we'll have a celebratory breakfast. Like, weird. And he doesn't want to like say no because he really wants to get this painting started. And so he kind of agrees to it with the thought of, well, at least we can retire to the bedchamber early, and you know, I can have Alexi bring the supplies and whatnot. It's not like they're going to have separate rooms. And then that's kind of where we end off in that
Oh, you
chapter.
skipped over the weird part. The weird part for me was apparently Catherine was like a street fighter.
Yeah.
A pugilist. I don't know what a pugilist is. So they were like
Yeah.
fighting. Oh, she like is interested in fighting, and she wasn't a good fighter. Mila never did it. She would illustrate the fights. A boxer. Okay, that's what they clarified. It's a boxer, but her brother has a ring, and they invite their whole family to come box.
I thought Envy was saying that about Wrath.
No.
No,
See, that's why I didn't think that part was weird.
yeah, Kitty
I thought
is.
he said that.
Because
Yeah.
they make a point because he asks if Camila fights, and she's
Yeah.
like, no, she's more of a lover. She just paints the.
No, so I
So-
remember that part.
But
And
it says Edwards rolled his eyes. My lovely wife here was something of an underground pugilist before we married. They would hardly
So-
consider fighting a shock.
Yeah.
I
no,
don't know
I
what
got all
pugilist
that,
is.
but I didn't either, and I didn't feel like Googling it, but I felt like maybe they were like overstating to some extent, which is why I thought they were being slightly facetious.
Oh no, you were right though. I misinterpreted that part with my brother has his own private ring. So the princes do have their own private ring in fighting. That wasn't
Okay.
Catherine.
That's what I was trying.
You're right.
I was gonna have to reread that because I was
Yeah.
like, man,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't find it weird. Honestly, I'm like good on Catherine for being a good friend.
Kind of makes
Because it-
sense.
Well,
yeah.
no, not the boxing part. The Ashley thought it was weird to like take them to her home. It's like you haven't heard of this guy. Now all of a sudden, like your best friend is engaged to him, and you spend one night a week at her home and this has never come up, I'd be like, yeah, I would be suspicious as
So I would definitely be suspicious. I just can't gauge how truly abnormal the quick engagement part of it is because, like, back then,
well,
you
she's
know,
lying is what I'm saying. Like she
Yeah.
just told her the other day, like
yes,
she didn't know him, and then it was something else, and then it's like,
she's
She
yeah,
finds them in the
definitely,
garden, right?
yeah,
Like at Vex's
yeah,
party. So she's being very kind, but you have to know like
mm-hmm,
she's suspicious. Like this is
yeah.
yeah.
I can't
Which,
wait to see what her reaction is to the end of this section. Like if we get a point of view from her, like what's going on.
in
Yeah.
theory, because we know that Catherine's husband was in the dark alley, whatever.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
If Catherine was actually like tasked to watch after Camilla as part of
Ah,
like from her mom or
Mm.
something.
yeah.
Because she does seem to
Or
just like be popping up every single time
seriously,
without Camilla saying anything.
Yeah.
what if she's secretly a shifter? Would make sense about the fighting, and
I
that's
don't know.
how, like,
I don't know to that level.
Yeah, that's
But
not too deep of a theory.
I don't know what should it be. Her name is Kitty. Should it be a cat?
Maybe she's the cat
Yeah. There you
that
go.
she's so like taking
oh
care
They
my
have
of.
gosh.
She's
they
taking
have
care
been
of
seen in
herself.
the same room though, I think.
Oh.
I was like, she's like astral projecting herself and like maintaining her corporeal form as well.
Professor McGonagall and her animagus form in the same
Man,
room.
that'd be wild.
So I also highlighted where like when she's accepting Kitty's offer to stay, she says as if overhearing his internal thoughts, we would be no such thing. I'm like, maybe there's something there because he like has a path to her mind. Maybe there is some connection and she's like starting to pick up on it.
And that's new. Like she had that whole
Yeah.
experience. Like, is
I
he
did
reading
not
my
catch that.
thoughts? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As if overhearing his internal thoughts. Camilla sent him a withering glare.
So another mini theory.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, I picked up on that too. That it before it was just like him trying to gaslight her into thinking that he like he
Yeah.
wasn't making it seem like that at all.
Well, and what are the details? Because I definitely don't remember them on like his ability to lie. Because he says grateful once again
Oh,
that he
we
was now
get there
able to
later.
lie. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he does already say that it was a made up tale that demons can't
Right.
lie. So that's
No,
already
that
been like
Fae can,
established.
not demons, Fae. Right. But demons cannot, which is why Pride, I think it was Pride, who was outside of the gallery or whatever at the very beginning, was like, what the hell? Like, since when can you tell a lie?
Yeah.
And he was like, stay out of my business, basically.
I don't think that was in my section. Is it in your section, Hannah?
What?
The lie thing.
No, that was at the beginning of the book, right?
No. Like, how he is able to lie.
I don't remember reading that.
Okay,
Did
maybe
I read
we'll
a
catch
chapter
it.
too far?
It might be in mine. I just didn't write it down. And now 22 is you, Hannah, right?
Okay, chapter 22. Camila and Sinton are staying with Catherine. She introduces him to her cat, Bunny. She has her like own room at Catherine's because she sleeps there pretty much like once a week. And she explains how, Kitty gets transported on a silk pillow, pretty much. And it's just like the queen of the house. She's thinking about, Lord Gary and all of that craziness, but she's not feeling any regret, which she's um somewhat surprised by. But she's just like, I was fighting for my life and it's is what it is. Let me fix my camera. Sin says that he wasn't dead by her hand, but she mentioned she doesn't know if that means he's still not dead or if Alexi took care of it. And he asks her about the locket, which she evades answering. Then goes to leave, and she starts feeling lonely immediately. And then he's like, as if reading her thoughts again, he looks her up and down, and she's, of course, wearing her fancy lingerie that she loves. And then he like completely switches the atmosphere and tells her, make a list of all your stuff that you need brought to the house, and I'm gonna have my servants go do that for you. Um, and then tries to leave again and like starts feeling her emotions. So then he's like, just for one night, and um, tells her to um, take her robe tie off and uses that as a blindfold. And then, they have a little bit of fun. He's like teasing her. And he only focuses on her, and she's blindfolded the whole time, obviously. So she's just trying to like hear what's going on. And she's like constantly thinking about like what he's looking like. Like, um does he need this as like much as she does? And when she finishes, whatever, he just leaves. And she's so blindfolded, she just kind of hears, she's like, no, he definitely didn't just leave. And when she takes the blindfold off, he's gone. Then she's just wondering to herself if he, did all this to hide something. He was very specific about the rules and the tying and it only being for one night. Um, and she decides that instead of being angry with him, she's going to adopt his indifference and, try to play his game.
So, and
And
for
then-
the record, they didn't officially have sex. He only promised one kiss, just a kiss, and
Yeah.
that did happen, just not as exactly as she anticipated.
She was penetrated.
She, yes, with a couple of things.
She had a good time.
Yeah, she was ready to stay in that bedchamber with him for the rest of her life.
Yeah,
He
she
did
had a
well.
good time a few times.
Yeah.
So she's winning on that front for sure.
Yeah.
Whenever before they got started, I feel like she said, "Was there something you needed, my lord?" I feel like that was probably so out of her comfort zone and
Mhm.
just a shot in the dark. I'm gonna give this a try. This is I'm not about this. This is not how I do things, but here we go. Did you touch on that she's gonna go move into Hemlock Hall?
Mhm.
Okay, sorry. It's funny that you got this chapter 'cause I feel like you're like
I
the most
know.
awkward about it.
As soon as like I turned the page and I realized what was going on, I was like, "This is Hannah's."
Yeah. Me too.
Like, Hannah, I'm gonna need some more details on this chapter.
I know.
Well, y'all
Like,
can
what do you
read out
mean
of the
they
book.
had some fun? I don't remember what
I
fun.
don't understand. Did they go to a
Did-
party?
Yeah, do they have a dance party? What's going on?
Mm.
And Christy, 205 is where he says that middle of the page.
Okay, thank you. You knew
Just
I
for
was
you.
probably looking for it, right? The line.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The problem. Not being able to let go of something until I find it. So thank you for feeding my problem.
I got you.
And I'm arguing with my computer.
Should I move on?
I think so. I was
Yeah.
just okay. So forbidden things always intrigued her. She picks it up, and what is she mentions that something he didn't want her to see, which made her more curious to unravel the mystery. Which I'm curious about that too. Like, what did he not want her to see? That his desire
Yeah.
because he's trying to be passive.
Maybe.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Well, and
That's
she
all.
does also, she has the thought, which kind of comes into play later, but she has the thought like, if he is the devil, then like she'll willingly fall into.
Sign me up.
Yeah, because he makes some comments. She's like, well, if this is hell, basically, like, here we go.
Yeah.
Like, I will freely spend all my time with a demon.
Yeah,
Which-
she is turning out to be a complex character because you don't get that vibe from her.
Really love her. And I
Yeah.
hope she holds true to like this really proud, stubborn,
Yeah.
like person that she's revealing herself to be. I enjoy her.
I think she will.
I have an interesting thought when we get to the end of the the last
Okay.
chapter.
Okay,
Let's see.
chapter 23. So we start back and at Envy's house where she has like all her paints set up. She mentions he kind of snuck out, skipped out on dinner, nobody saw him, and he is noticing that she's not love struck or angry with him, considering all of this. And he's like finding this odd.
Killing his
So,
ego.
yes.
Yeah, how dare she not be just absolutely fallen?
Twitter
Yeah.
hated.
Yeah. So he's like, let me know anything you need. And she again is really trying to twist the knife, like for these things that he's done. And she's like, yeah, you could get me a cup of tea. And he's like, okay, I'm not your servant. He is still like getting lost in his own thoughts and fantasizing about last night and how like irresistible she was and how hard it was for him to restrain himself. Um, saying, there was nothing usual about the way he handled her as he would like anybody else. Like we've read how, it's one night only and then never to be discussed again. But he's really losing it with her. And she currently has the upper hand by the way that she is treating him afterwards. He's used to, being fawned over, and she's like, meh.
It's a shock to his system, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And she's acting almost like he's not even in the room. Like when she's looking
Yeah.
over the supplies and whatnot, like he's an afterthought.
You
Yeah.
can leave now. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what I
She
needed from you.
continues dismissing him.
Oh
And
my God.
then,
When she did that, and he goes, "You will not dismiss me in my own house."
yeah. And she calls him out for fantasizing by looking at his pants. And he's like, I've never just been so lost in thought. And she like pulls him out of it. And she's like, yeah, it's pretty obvious what you were thinking about. So then he ends up leaving and Lust is waiting outside of the door. And he's like, you're in trouble, dude. And they mention how she could be a pawn, specifically designed for this game, which Envy's like, does say, like I would hate for her just to be a pawn, and essentially she doesn't deserve that, but
And a distraction.
yeah. So Envy was going into how, after the painting he plans to leave, and even though this whole like marriage thing wasn't really exactly the plan, but he's just gonna leave her everything and make sure, no one fucks with her.
That's really nice.
Yeah. Lust has says, bring her to house Lust first. And they kind of start talking about their brother's houses and like the debauchery that's happening with Wrath, who's just recently married. And Envy's response is she'll be at house Envy first. And Lust just laughs like, ha, I got you. Like you're admitting that she's gonna be around. They discuss how she doesn't succumb to his powers, and they're kind of, they both clearly have theories over this, and Les is just like, after the painting, try again. Like maybe it's something to do with the game. And they're just both very curious and don't think she's just any mortal.
Camilla might be very different from Envy's last mortal.
Yeah.
Like I know he swore off mortals after the last one.
Right. Which is all we've heard so far.
Right. Her power shift like innuendos killed me. And she's like, after he said the serving thing, and he's like, well, I was on my knees for her last night. And she's like, I imagine that would be very hard for you, my lord. And then it appears you'll have your hands full thinking.
Yeah.
I loved it. But she is savage.
Yes. So chapter 24, she's getting ready to paint and she's immediately feeling like the negativity and just bad feelings towards what she's about to do to paint this hexed object. She starts hearing knocks on the window, and every time she looks, she's not seeing anything, but she starts to get freaked out, and she calls for Sin. But the tapping keeps happening, and then all of a sudden, there's a cloaked figure at the window. She calls for Sin again, and the man in the window smiles at this, kind of tauntingly, I would imagine. And then she sees a yellow eye wink at her when Sin arrives. And she mentions it can't be, but it's the hunter. So the only
Wolf.
person she's ever wolf.
Oh, I was
The
correcting you. I was just like excited. I don't
Yeah.
understand what it means though.
No, yeah, I'm scared for what it means. So the only person she's ever slept with, their only experience, now he's showing back up in her life. He clearly has some type of ties with Sin. And I hope it's, I don't know, it could be really bad.
Like, I get the feeling it was all a long con.
Yeah, me too. And I hate that.
Yeah. Like, as soon as, because she makes a comment like, the hunter did tell me he was going to come back, but this is like the absolute worst timing for him to be here. And I'm just thinking, like, oh, because they just like somehow managed to bump into each other in the shadow, whatever, Silver Locks Lane or whatever it's called.
So he's either a part of the game. Like, what if he's a hunter in the game? Like, this is another, like, adder. Or what if he is the game master?
Oh my God. What a turn of events if it were Linux.
Yeah.
That'd be wild.
I don't know, but I'm feeling bad for her. And then especially if, like, everybody in her life, like Catherine and, like, her husband being a little weird, like, if her whole life has been basically a con.
Like, if Linux has been like crafting this for the last, you know, however long.
Yeah.
She's a little ball of secrets though. Like,
Yeah.
she makes it sound like she's been trying to like move past that, like hide whatever happened with him for a really long time. It says a big disruption for him to come back.
We'll say, like, from this chapter through the rest of this section, like, there were multiple times where I was like, can't you both just like lay it all out on the table? Like, you know, enough that like just lay it out, and you're going to avoid all the BS that we know is going to happen in the rest of this book, because you guys are just secret keepers.
Well, that's the point. So
Maybe.
yeah, Sinton shows up, the man is gone, and she doesn't say anything. She just moves on. So then she starts talking about the Hex Throne and how her father used to tell her about it. It burns on one side only as an act of balance. It was hexed by the first ever witch. The story is the witch's daughter fell in love with a demon, and she got pissed off and hexed a lot of objects. So we know we're dealing with very old magic, which is typically, you know, the most intense. So then it's going into her gift and how gives us a little bit more insight on that essentially she just kind of closes her eyes, imagines what she wants to paint, and then when she looks at the canvas, it's kind of there as a guide. That was interesting. Let's see.
Very. And especially creepy in this instance.
Yeah. The throne is rumored to be sentient, which she's very sure of this as she's painting, and like is feeling like it calling to her and all of these things. She was told that her powers come from a long line of Fray, and like potentially she's entering into a different realm when she paints. So again, this is all coming from her father. So she's starting to paint, and it's putting her like into a trance-like state. And when she starts to think about things, she's like pulled back, going back to like the sentient of it all. She's feeling like the throne is like, no, I'm your focus, and like pulling her into the painting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like get going. So then it stops. The sentence comes in a fury, and he's like, "What do you think that you're doing?" And she's like, "What are you talking about? I'm painting. Like I told you an hour ago." And she sees like his demeanor change, and like he's a little bit confused, and then he is just telling her, "Yeah, new rule. You can only paint when I'm in the room." And she's like, "What? I'm not like a child," pretty much. And he's like, "I will handcuff you to me if you don't obey," pretty much. And he calls her pet, which was a choice.
And he's done it before, and she's like, don't.
Yeah.
But she didn't say don't this time.
Yeah. So he's
She
definitely
didn't.
trying to poke at her because of, how she's reacting to everything going
Yeah.
on.
I missed, like, when I read through it, the details along her when she's using her talent, that she goes into Fay time. Seconds or months could pass and she'd be unaware. I don't know. I feel like that has something to do with her mom and her dad's.
Yeah. I do
Well, yeah,
too.
because she gets the talent from her dad.
Yeah.
But a little bit further back, so when she's talking about this hexed throne, is anybody else thinking that, like, so one, can a witch have mortal children? Because if she's got a mortal daughter, that is totally got to be the mortal that Envy was with, right? He's the one that has the hexed throne in his bedchamber.
It's his throne, though. Like in his court, no?
That's what I mean.
Yeah. I don't know. I did
Hmm.
not theorize into that at
I
all.
didn't either.
Like, as
But that's
soon
an
as she
interesting
started talking
thought.
about, like, a daughter fell in love with a demon, I was
didn't
like,
even see that. For how the hex throne came about.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Yeah.
that would make sense.
I just don't know what the mortality,
Is she considered
ratios are
immortal?
here. Yeah.
Witches are usually mortal from, like, in other books I've read,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Usually.
I don't know. Hopefully we'll find out more about that.
Yeah, because it does also say she hexed several objects, so maybe she just did all of them. Like every house of sin.
Well, you demons.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Hex you all.
Honestly, like, I can't blame her. If I were in her position, I might do the same thing if I had that ability.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you guys should watch Runaway on Netflix. Anyways. So chapter 25. Go right into the pet calling. He knew calling her pet would annoy her, but he liked that he was trying to he explains to us at that part, he's worried that when she said he had only been gone for an hour and it had been 2 days. She hadn't come up. And he thought she was still just being a little pouty. And then when it was like the whole next day, then that's when he went up and was like thinking she was doing this as a ploy. Emery tries to get her to go to bed, but she refuses, which he marvels at her strong will. He's like, I don't think I've ever met anybody with stronger will than she does, because she's just like, you can go to bed. I'm not going. So he notices that the painting is starting to take a life of its own, and he's not sure if she notices it. She's like painting the fire, and there's like smoke tendrils like coming outside of the canvas. And he's starting to sense another energy in the room, and is sure that she's unaware. And he's like, this is my realm, like this is my bread and butter. Here we go. Shadows start pouring into the room from the painting, and it just reaffirms that she's creating reality from fantasy with her brush. And he's thinking perhaps she was actually the clue all along, and it had nothing to do with the painting, but he needed to find her. And then Envy has to force her out of like this trance like state, using his demon power, like I don't know what we call this, his like command.
He calls
Yeah,
it his
his-
sin, right?
He
Or
uses
something else.
the power of his sin in his voice, something like that nobody can
Yeah.
ignore.
Like Hades. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I had for that chapter.
He did mention that it seemed as though she was imbuing her very soul into the paint. She also had said that she thinks that her blood runs paint. Like that blood runs through her vein, or paint runs through her veins. I don't know. And like all clues to what's going on with her. Yeah.
Well,
All
yeah,
hell
and
broke loose.
he first like kind of calls her name and she turns back to look at him. He realized that her eyes were like glowing too.
Yeah.
Like
and he's
stars.
like,
Princess of
yeah.
Starlight.
and he knows something like she's about to be finished with this painting, and as soon as she does that last stroke, like he has to have her out of the way, which is why he ends up commanding command of a demon prince, I guess is
What
what
if
they
she's good Fae? Because they're like,
what if she's unseelie Fae, and that's why her dad's dying breath was, you are good, like don't ever let them tell you different.
Hmm.
I need to go back and read about the Seelie versus unseelie. Is like, was the star something that the Seelie was related to Seelie or unseelie? Because she's been alluded to like related to Starlight more than once.
So the stars and moon and all things like dark side are the unseelie, and then the sun and the spring and summer are the seelie, and then fall and winter are the unseelie.
Okay. So that's what I'm leaning more towards, the fact that she's probably Fae, or at least like half.
She's something.
She's something. You're right. You are right.
RBF Club. I can't make out the fine details of the cursive writing, but membership only, smiling on the inside. I love that.
All right. Chapter 26.
Hit it.
Okay. So this presence has now entered the room. Hell's broken loose. And Camilla ducks behind Envy, taking in this dense, shadowy form that has what she can say embers for eyes. And it's something that in all of her nightmares, she never could have like imagined this up. But yeah, all of her in all of her nightmares, Camilla's never seen something like this. And that she felt as though giving life to the throne took something from her. The being's hatred and fury filled the room, and when it addresses them, when it like starts being cognizant, aware of them, Envy very confidently tells it that you have information that I need. And it speaks into Camilla's mind, saying that it stole her talent and she's only going to get it back if she plays the game until its end. She then is I feel like this entity purposefully did this in revealing in this moment who Envy's truly is, which I don't know how she didn't pick up on this. So he's the Prince of Envy. Then they get the game clue, which was hush, those goose lose no text. Lose no text. So now Camilla has to be involved, and they have the clue. Envy just like stabbed the creature and sent it away. And so now Camilla started to take in the details around Envy's ruse as sin, and how it was clever that he used that name. And she really wants to get out of there, but she's tied to this game now and feels like she's missing a part of her soul with her talent gone. The clue is an anagram, which how the hell did this man figure out this anagram so quickly?
I was thinking the same thing.
Excuse me, sir. House left next, she goes to. And so she's like, I'm not going. Yes, you are. That all of that, regular back and forth goes through. Happens. All the back and forth happens, and she just like wants some time to take a shower and like collect herself before they go on this adventure. He's worried she's gonna try to take off, but he does agree to let her go, and yeah, Oh, sorry. Go ahead. She
No, go
was
ahead.
thrilled at the danger that she was about to embark on, like the adventure she was
Yeah.
about to embark on. She wanted
Proof
to try
positive.
to avoid letting him see it. Sorry, this was a long chapter, so I did a lot of summarizing.
Yeah.
Sure.
No. There is one point that I think is going to be really important later, probably. I haven't figured out how exactly. When the whatever that creature is talking to her in her mind. He says, because she asks what game, when he says you have to play the game until it's end. She's like, what game? He said, did you believe he wouldn't eventually force your hand? And he starts laughing and he says, yes, you are now but another pawn to be moved around his board.
And that's
So,
Lennox.
so he's clearly talking about Lennox,
Mm-hmm.
and which again lends to if she's unseelie, because he is the king of them.
And maybe she has like some important role in his kingdom and she got out and he wants her
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Well, and he says, yours, no, he says, now you're just another pawn to be moved around his board.
Yeah.
And she says, I know he's not talking about sin, but somebody much worse.
Yeah. Like, and the whole game, like 100% the Linux board.
Mm-hmm.
She's given no indication that she has any relation to this King of Fray. Like, she's not mentioned Lennox at all. He's been mentioned sparingly anyways, but
Well,
it's-
I'm wondering, like, what if she was like either really young or her mom was pregnant and escaped, or her mom and dad, like somebody stole her or something like that. Like, she is from that realm.
she's Lennox's child.
Nah, that'd be wild. Would he
Wilder
use
things have happened.
his daughter as a pawn? I mean, maybe. I don't know him
I
that well,
mean-
but he sounds like he might.
They don't care about the
Um,
daughters.
Yeah.
It's true. But yeah, I definitely feel like when he said that, like, it kind of clicked even harder that maybe she is actually unseelie.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yep. And that, okay, so when Sentence sends them away, he says, send my regards to your king. So this creature in the Hex Throne is obviously tied to the king itself, like in one of his creatures.
So did he
the
send him
creatures too many
away?
times.
Or
Yeah,
did
he
he
did.
kill him? Because the only thing the blade doesn't kill, supposedly, are the other princes of sin, I thought. So I thought that he was just being ironic when he's like, give my regards to your king, and then
Maybe.
kills him. But I don't know.
But there's that question of like, it's a shadowy creature. Can it even be killed? Or is it just being like sent? Does it
true.
live in the realm of like it's a demon, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I suppose.
Unknown.
And he does call it a demon. Wait, no, just kidding. That's wrong.
Yeah, so I had a couple more things.
Okay.
That I highlighted. Let's see. She mentions, which brother did I meet? And he narrows his eyes and she says he's definitely that his sin is rearing its head. Good, now I know his weakness.
Make him jealous.
Yeah, so she's
Mhm.
definitely like turning on the gameplay herself very quickly, because then she's also like, we'll let the demon prince or she wasn't sure it would be a good idea to let the demon prince know he had a new competitor, her,
Yeah.
and she
Like-
hides that from him.
That is absolutely diabolical of her. Like, going into this, and he has no idea, one, that she has lost her gift, but two,
Mhm.
that she's in it
Yeah.
to whatever extent, which she doesn't really know either to what extent, but she knows that she has to play it through in order to get her gift back.
I still did not like see her panning out as her being a competitor. To me, it was
I
more like
don't-
they're going to depend on each other, but she does say that.
Don't
I
know.
think
I think
she's
she thinks,
confused.
yeah, I don't know that she's a true player necessarily.
But she now has something to win.
Yeah. Like,
And
she
lose.
still has to she has to continue to be in this for her to be gifted her gift back to whatever extent.
Yeah. Which his message obviously says like she goes too, but she doesn't let him know, like, yeah, he told me I was in
Yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah.
let's see what else. He calls her an investment,
Oh yeah.
and obviously she doesn't like that.
I've been on my knees for you. If you want me there again, just ask.
Yeah. And then when she's like I need time. And he's like, an hour. And she's like, 2. She notices a flicker of amusement, a respect in his eyes before he blinks it away. So, that the same old story, like he respects her pushing back and being strong-willed, etc.
It riles them up.
Yeah. And then maybe you already said it, but the last sentence is, she spun around before he could see the tiny thrill she felt at that dangerous vow. So again, her getting excited about the danger and the mystery and the adventure that has become her life.
I feel like she's the classic like secret topping from the bottom like role, which I didn't anticipate in the beginning sections of this book.
I don't know why. Like, I feel like my notes are way too short for the next section. So we'll just have more conversation. So chapter 27, Envy tries to puzzle out what it is like that Camilla could be because she's obviously not entirely human. So as he's thinking that over, he's like moved from that complication and gets an update on his court and the state of it. So if you remember the fog they're all under that's getting worse over time, we get our first actual look at how it's impacting his court. So he's reported that 2/3 of his court is now lost to the fog. When he travels there, he finds pretty much this like how his room, how he left it, just a light layer of dust. Things in the overall halls are very quiet, and typically there's parties going on, all kinds of festivities happening. And he ventures in to check on a noble family that was staying in one of his suites. I think it's pretty common that the noble families would be staying in the suites. And the family is the Cassius family. So the Lord and Lady Cassius, he mentions that, I'm just going to read this part. So he's trying to ascertain what's going on. He hopes he's not too late for them specifically because he mentions that they're 2 high ranking nobles. The lady's a member of his council, made up of demons he's known for centuries. She schemed with him, searched for spells with him for decades now, hoping to delay the madness, and who'd found the one spell he could use to lie. So there is a spell that lets them overcome the inability to lie. So that tells us that demons cannot lie without someone a way around the rule. And she believed in him that he would save them all. So before he had gone, he mentioned that they had brought 3 new demons into the world, even knowing the risks, and that they couldn't be older than 6 months old. So he steps into this room, and it's just destruction in there. There's yeah, it's a sad picture, and he sees only her, and she is screaming like, "Who are you? Who's that?" And she's obviously terrified. She's insists that she doesn't know him and goes on that she doesn't know the man in the room, that he looks over and sees his good friend, who had obviously been dead for a while. He even mentioned that he didn't have wounds, like he defended himself. So he obviously, right? Is that how it said?
No,
Read?
he does.
No, he
He
does.
has
did.
some.
Okay, he did see some defensive wounds, and if he had been in his right mind, he would not have struck his wife, even if she
Right.
was like beating him up. That's not the worst part, though. She goes on to like, who are they? Who sent them to kill me? And Cassius looks over to see like where these 3 cribs standing in the corner, and it doesn't go into detail, but obviously the bodies of these children, probably in a similar state to what the husband's in. She has no immediate, Piper is her name. She has no immediate like understanding what happens, but she has this moment of clarity, which he explains happens sometimes, and realized what she had done. And before it, he's still reeling, he's been too late to save so many, and this was another group. And much to his avail and to his sadness, he sees her thrust a dagger through her chest, and crack herself against the marble floor, and she's gone too. So we get to see insight into how the curse is actually driving him and how detrimental it actually is to his court, because it hasn't seemed like that big of a deal this whole time. It's been mentioned, but we haven't found out that it's like people kill their loved ones because they're like afraid and don't know where they are. It's like dementia, right? The
Yeah.
fog.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a very important chapter to help understand Envy a little
Yeah.
bit more.
Yeah. And he's very like adamant, like this is on him. Like he has to own this sin. He has to look at what's happened and,
It
have
is
that
his
memory.
motivation to keep going
Yeah.
and lift the curse.
Yeah,
And I
'cause-
did highlight.
No, go ahead.
I did highlight also because he says these murders, they belong to him. If he'd never given the chalice to her, ... So that'll be definitely something that's like
Yeah.
a part of what brought this curse on. And specifically to this Piper lady Cassius, maybe? Or does he mean her as in the mortal girl?
The mortal, I think. I think that's who he's referring to. One thing that makes it even worse about the Cassius couple is they had actually been blessed by the old gods. So like it just, and when they first come into the chapter, it goes into like all kinds of detail about how silent it is and no one's wandering around in the garden. His courtiers and whatnot, like they're nowhere to be found. It's just silent. They're not looking at, like, House Envy is basically a museum and no one's there admiring any of the art or anything like that. So it's just completely just desolate. And then he talks about like this couple that has been around for centuries, blessed by the old gods, like even they're affected.
Yeah.
And it's just
He was
like
holding out hope
there are no
that
bounds.
like they would be able to make
Yeah.
it through.
Mm-hmm.
When he has to try to move on, wrap his heart in ice and not let himself be distracted from his goal, which he's found himself being much more regularly than he's used to.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Okay.
No.
Last chapter?
Last chapter of the section, yes. Chapter 28. Camilla starts the chapter asking Envy what makes him trust anything the hex creature said. He's been watching her closely. She knows he's not in a good mood. And this is following the visit to his court. She doesn't really know anything about it. And he's obviously avoidant. He's not going to talk to her about it. Tells her to get a warm cloak and they're going to be going. He tries to question her on her parentage and her charm is what he calls it, which she refers to as her talent. He transfers them to the void outside of the seven circles, which is a space that connects all other realms. They are now and when they are transported, they're facing the gates to the underworld. He tells her they're going to pass through the sin corridor, where magic will attempt to seduce Camilla, and she'll be tested by each deadly sin. When they enter the underworld, and sorry, I'll embellish on that a little bit more. When she's tested by each deadly sin, she's going to have a stronger pull towards others, some than others. And I guess we'll get to see now if she is really affected by them or if it's across the board, like they don't affect her and she's going to fly through this with no problems.
Yeah,
I
I'm
felt like-
imagining it very much like the Sorting Hat. Like
I was literally just about to say the same thing. Like, I feel like it was a journey
yeah,
through the Sorting Hat, like, thought
Yeah.
process. Like, if we got to see the whole thought process of the Sorting Hat, like,
yeah,
this is it.
Yeah. It's like they get sucked into the hat and then they have an adventure and then they get sucked back out.
yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
time warp.
Yeah.
So yeah, the magics will try to seduce her and she's going to be tested by each deadly sin. As I said, they enter the underworld and it is not what she imagined. So, just like other books we've read, you imagine hellfire, brimstone, all of that in the underworld. And it is this like picturesque world of snow and ice with mountains that she's actually really drawn to. And she does pretend to be completely unaffected by the magic, but she can feel it moving around her. they trudge through this vast realm. She mentions that she notices the feeling of wrath, of gluttony and envy, but none of them were overwhelming or commanding. So she's making it through already some of these. I
Well, and did
questioned
we-
myself when I read about. Oh, go ahead.
Did we say what the translation was? Where they're going?
They're trying to get to Sloth, right?
Yeah, but I don't know that we said that.
She did.
I did,
but,
but we
I
didn't
think
go
it kind of
over it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was like go to Sloth, she comes to, or something like that. So that's where they're trying to get to. And he explained that they have to go through, I'll go back into it a little bit more. They have to go through each of these steps to get there. Yeah, I actually don't even know how to go more into that. So they can't go directly to House Sloth. No other magic is allowed until she's experienced each sin and has been aligned with the house. So Envy doesn't even have the power to just bring them to Sloth. They have to go through this. So important note.
When she does, he doesn't.
Right, obviously.
He
He could
mentions
just like
that as well.
he could just go whenever he wants.
Yeah, which she says. She's like, he could just leave me, but he's choosing not to.
Which he's protecting his investment, right? Like he wants to guide her through this because she's very important to him in his court. So yes, Camilla just goes through what she's feeling. She's very adventurous feeling, and this fear is awakening. Fear is awakening this in her. Actually made me question whether fear was one of the sins.
Like,
because
what about the
they embellished
secret
on
eight?
it. Yeah, that was kind of my thought.
Yeah.
Because she went through how passive she felt with all of the other ones, but she really went into how fear was like driving her. And like and lighting an interest in her basically.
Maybe
Yeah.
that was the 8th one.
Yeah.
Maybe she's the part of the 8th house.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Oh, I did not hear that.
Chrissy and I were
Because-
trying to say the same thing and overtalked each other.
Oh, yeah, because remember when she was on the roof?
Yeah, it was overwhelming to her. Remember
Oh,
when she was
yeah.
like having
Yeah.
an
A panic attack, and he was
Overwhelming,
like,
yeah.
"What is going on here?" But I can't focus on this.
yeah, she has like a fear, something is lighting something in her with
That
fear
has to be
associated.
it.
Yeah.
That's the book. She's the 8th
Okay.
sin. Her mom escaped somehow.
I just don't know how
How
fear could be a sin.
wicked.
Wait, would that make them like siblings?
No.
Technically, he
They're
calls
not-
the
well,
other sins brothers.
Yeah, but I don't think they're necessarily, they don't have to be like of blood.
Anywho,
There's not much more. Like
yeah, it's-
they decide to camp for the night, and of course, there's this like tiny cabin that they're gonna have to share a small amount of space with. I'm like, is there one bed? Because that is the formula in romantasy books for
Except
the next steps in a
twisted
relationship.
part of that whole thing is that he built that the last time he made this walk with, he says, her talking about the mortal,
yeah.
and the circumstances were very different. So it's like, WTF?
I don't know why I missed that going back over it, that he built that cabin. Or is that in chapter 29 and you read ahead?
Yeah, I think she read ahead.
Did I?
It doesn't say anything about the cabin other than her description of
Yeah.
it.
Spoiler alert, I guess I read an extra chapter.
Can we talk about sloth? What is this?
House sloth?
Yeah.
Sloth is like, isn't it like laziness? Is that?
Yes, it commonly is perceived as like laziness, but it's more the like being docile, like to the point of like if you're doing something that you like to do, but you have other things going on, but you're choosing to just hang out and do like chill things. Like it's not necessarily just being lazy.
But like
it's usually-
irresponsible.
Yeah, like you're highly attuned to, I would almost say like low activity things that are like society deems as being lazy, right? But if you have like a hermit for whatever reason, like, and all they do is like listen to records all day, things like that.
It
That's it.
says it's a spiritual apathy, a deep seated reluctance to do good or care about one's divine purpose, manifesting as spiritual indifference, boredom, despair, and negligence in spiritual duties, even when outwardly busy. It says it reflects an aversion to the divine good and inadequate love for God, leading to a failure
Of
to
course.
use talents and love others as one should. She has a
So-
failure to lose talents. He has an inability to love others as one should.
I feel like it's kind of like after hearing you read it that way, like maybe it's you actively choosing not to take action to live up to your greatest potential or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you've decided that you don't care about being the best quote unquote version of yourself. Like you enjoy doing this more than
It's shallow,
yeah.
right?
Well, since I'm here, the deadly sins are lust, greed, envy, pride, wrath, gluttony, and sloth. So fear would seem to be missing.
Well, so and that's the thing, right? It's always been the 7 deadly sins. There's never been 8 deadly sins. It's always been the
Sure.
7 deadly sins. So I don't know how the 8 quote unquote brother fits in. So
But
at
fear
some
would
point,
be a good add to that list.
I
is
feel like
what
fear
mean.
would be the opposite of whatever the sin would be, because fear, how can fear be a sin? It's like a reaction to something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
so well, it might be so fear might be the result of whatever that sin
Yeah.
is.
Anxiety.
Or like not believing, like find a word for like not believing or doubtful, maybe
Doubt.
something like that. Something to
It's
that
an
effect. I don't
interesting
know.
theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that, like, again, my notes were pretty vague. I was just trying to hit the details, and yeah, hopefully we get to find out what's going to happen in the tiny cabin in the next chapter.
Yep. Yep. Next section, part 4. So we'll officially be halfway. So
Yep.
make
Whoop,
sure
whoop.
you guys are
we-
joining us.
We do end very neatly at the end of the book's part 2. So
I just noticed
Should be
something
interesting.
that I'll add, that she mentions the idea of Envy unraveling her secrets was no longer as frightening as it should be. So maybe we're getting closer to some
Yeah.
details about her
Revelations.
past. Yeah. Because this freedom she's feeling from being in this realm is loosening her up a little bit.
All right. Well, join us for part 4. Like, comment, subscribe. Give us all of your theories.
Watch
We're
the video
interested
many
in 'em.
times.
Put it on replay. All right. We'll see y'all next time.
Love you, sisters.
Bye, sisters.
Later.